Today's episode is brought to you by the Vegas Beer Guys and the Sounds in Cinema podcast. The Everything Sequel podcast contains explicit language. 'Cause we learned it from you, Dad. Hello and welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast. This is a Hannibal Rising edition. My name is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, the man who wants to boil me in a pot, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Say hi, Tom.
Speak to your little fuckboy. Do not remember the context of that.
Me either.
Refuse to look it up. What I am sure of is that fuckboy was not a ready available term in the 1950s.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Why even bother making a period drama is my question,
Oh.
if you're going to use languaging like that. I'm not saying you shouldn't use those words. I'm not a prude. I'm just saying, make sure it's in historical context.
That's all I ask.
That's all I ask. That's all I've ever asked. Historical accuracy when it comes to cursing.
Well, what can we say about a film like Hannibal Rising?
Nothing of note.
It's
nothing notable.
It's one of those ideas, both in book and film form, in which you have created a mythical creature, essentially, in Hannibal Lecter.
Agreed.
And the one way to unravel all that mythos is to show him as a child.
Yes, that's very true.
That's the wrong thing to do.
Entirely the wrong thing. Yes. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I or you can add to the onslaught of hatred that has met this movie.
Yeah.
But we'll do our best.
All right.
We always do.
It doesn't seem like that when you're listening, I'm sure, but we are doing our best.
No, I know it doesn't seem like we're doing our best, but we do our best to express hatred in ways that people haven't thought of before.
One might say it's what we're best at.
I know, sadly, that's certainly what I'm best at. But I mean, how bad is this for you? I don't think we necessarily talked about that in the ranking episode. Is it unwatchably bad?
I don't know. Because
it has been described thus.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly haven't watched it since I saw it in the movie theater.
Oh, this is my first time watching it. And I saw the unrated version. Is that the one you watched?
I don't know. I rented it for $4.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You need to start looking for the deals that I'm getting.
I can't. A lot of times I gotta watch. Like, I had to watch this after I got home from work one night. Like, literally the night before we were recording our ranking episode. And I was like,
Sure.
I'm not adding an extra half an hour for commercials on Tubi. I'm not doing that.
Well, yeah, but you're paying through the nose for it.
$4.
So that's a lot to someone like me. Yeah. So anyway, it's
So here's the thing: is that it's such a weird, misstep, sloppy movie. I don't know, but I find myself, again, I don't need to watch this movie ever again. But
no.
And it's not as fun a bad watch as, say, Hannibal is.
Absolutely not.
And it never reaches any levels that Hannibal does.
Absolutely not.
But I didn't find myself particularly mad at it either.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. That it doesn't inspire wrath in me.
Yeah.
In the way that But I don't understand why it doesn't
It should, maybe, but...
simultaneously. I suppose, I mean, it's you know, we joked about this in the ranking episode, but it is an onion belt, right? It is just what movies were doing around that time. Although I think we also conceded that this is a little late to the party. So that gives it, you know, that's its kind of cultural out, if you like.
Sure.
Is that others made this mistake.
Why shouldn't it?
Because the biggest question I had after... Yes, exactly. Why should this be any different? The biggest question I had after my kind of overall question about the movie was not about this particular movie, but about the subculture it belongs to.
Mm.
And so my overall question is, are there any young versions of iconic protagonists that ever add up to the adult characters that we know
that
in
work.
fiction?
Hmm.
Is there any time when you've gone back in time and it's made sense in relation to what you've previously seen?
In your mind, maybe the prequels.
Even I wouldn't dare argue that.
Okay, good.
The closest I got to a devil's advocate was The Godfather Part 2.
Yeah, that's true.
But, not to preempt our discussion of this, but I actually don't think that adds up as well as it could, nor do I think it's supposed to. I think it is... They are romanticized memories.
No, okay.
I don't think it's meant to be... I think that they're meant to be seen through rose-tinted... I think it's literally rose-tinted spectacles of what Don Corleone was. And this certainly doesn't have this level. We're asked to accept that this is all true.
Right.
And it can't possibly be so.
All right, let's get to it.
Yeah. We've asked the big question, now here are the little answers.
Hannibal Rising, a 2007 film with 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You can't
Really
some
argue with
days
that.
some days you can't come up with a counter argument.
Directed by one Peter Weber. He's got one movie I recognize, which is...
my silence speaks volumes.
Well, he directed Girl with the Pearl Earring.
Okay.
So that's a movie I at least know.
Wait. Oh, no, I was gonna say, is that the Scandinavian version or the American? But it's not part of the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. Never mind. Yes, I've heard of that.
He directed a movie called Emperor, which I wrote down mostly because I didn't realize that I didn't know it, and it stars Matt Fox and Tommy Lee Jones. And I thought to myself, well, I know those two actors, but I don't remember them ever being together in a movie.
From Matt Fox from Lost?
Lost, yeah.
I don't remember him being in anything but Lost.
Yeah, he's in We Are Marshall and...
Now, those words don't make sense consecutively.
It's a airplane crashes and kills an entire football team. So they gotta restart a football team.
Wait, does he only stars in movies where planes crash?
He's also in a terrible...
That's my USP.
Alex Cross movie, the one with Tyler Perry as Alex Cross.
Oh.
He's the baddie in that.
That must have been so frustrating being in an Alex Cross movie where you're a better fit for the lead role than the person... Oh, wait, is Tyler Perry playing Alex Cross? Yeah, definitely. Matthew Fox is definitely better fit for that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm not saying, and not because he's white, because he's...
They're going to make another Alex Cross movie, and some studio execs, now hear me out. We do Alex Cross, but we do him as white.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna have a portly black gentleman as Alex Cross, what's wrong with Ice Cube? I'd even take Ice-T over Tyler Perry.
All right, then 2 movies I don't know, Pickpockets and Drag-N.
Wait, Drag-N?
Dragn. All capital letters. Drag-N.
They just give him the movies whose titles don't make grammatical sense. That's his raison d'etre.
Yeah.
Is if it don't make sense, give it to Weber.
Give it to the Weber guy.
Hannibal rising? Why is he rising? Well,
It's like bread.
You mean growing. You mean growing. Yes. Bread rises. People grow.
All right, a budget for this movie of $75 million. You got something you want to say to me before I start this?
No, what?
Come on, your
Why?
new catchphrase.
Show me the money! And that explains why we haven't got to it yet, because I've already forgotten that was my new catchphrase.
Budget of $75 million.
You said it so threateningly, though. I thought you were angry with me. You got something you want to say to me? I mean, that's not how you segue to a catchphrase.
Okay, I'll take responsibility. My fault.
You imagine if, Conan O'Brien did that to
Poor Andy
Gary
Richter.
Coleman. Gary Coleman, you got something you don't understand? You got something you want to ask me a question about? A specific question?
You want me to start plucking my strings on my hips from my pockets? All right.
He was embroiled in the whole Nick Reiner thing. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's get our lawyers on that one.
This movie, budget, $75 million. Opening weekend, $13 million. In the USA, $75 million. In the world, $82.1 million. So, look, this movie is not, when you take into account, things like advertising and giving your money away to movie theaters, this movie's not making a profit.
No.
But I'm surprised it even made that much money.
I'm surprised it made its money back.
Yeah.
In the way that it did.
That's crazy.
Well, and I imagine the world didn't like being represented falsely.
Yeah.
I don't know where Thomas Harris I was gonna say gets the idea. What I really mean to say is gets the nerve.
The nerve. Right. That's the correct phrase.
Because I don't get the sense he's done much research on Lithuania during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And if he has, I think it's a passing interest that, he learned one fact and then started writing the book.
Sure.
Which is fine for a novel, but for when you're doing historical fiction, I don't think you can be as
cavalier,
flippant as that. Yeah.
I think he, like you, were surprised that the dates kind of matched
He wouldn't
up.
like me. That was it. That was his impetus. It was like, boy, this timeline actually works. Yeah. I'm definitely writing it now.
All right, exactly.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. This is where it's slightly different from, just blaming whoever wrote the movie or blaming the director. And Thomas Harris wrote the screenplay, so...
He did?
He wrote the screenplay, yeah.
Ugh.
That was that's what was one of my big takeaways.
I didn't notice that.
Movie was, well, it ends, the blame ends with him pretty much.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's always a little bit of a roll of the dice when novelists adapt their own screenplays. I think it's generally not done. I don't think it's generally good practice in cinema to do that.
Yeah.
Because they can't envision something different from the novel that they've written. Maybe that's the problem here. But, add it to the list.
The list is long, my friend.
Fucking hell. That's one hell of a complaint line.
You want to know how you're going to be sure to get 3 completely different movies? You have 3 completely different...
Production
companies putting this shit out.
Not so different though, because there's one thing that unites them. They all have lions in the logo. I was like, there's such a missed opportunity here. We get Lionsgate,
Dino,
the DDFC logo, which is a lion, and I was like, oh, you should have let MGM just contribute like $1,000 or something, just so you could have a lion triumvirate at the beginning of your movie.
Well, it's funny because after these two great cinematic production company logos,
yeah,
we have a misty forest. And then a hog eating.
You say forest. I would, if I didn't know anything about what movie I was going to say, I would have said jungle. I knew it couldn't be the jungle because I knew this movie started in Europe in World War II.
Right.
But the stock sound effects they're using are jungle sounds. This is not European wilderness. This is African plains. And you know what? The Enya-like music isn't helping, nor is the appearance of a warthog.
That's the thing that I said. So I wrote down mystical music for some reason. And then we have this wild hog as though the movie is already saying to us, remember the great times you had in Silence of the Lambs? I mean, Hannibal. They can't even remember what they want to refer
kind of
to
an animal that was
in the past. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That cognitive dissonance is there. The other cognitive dissonance is when you hear the jungle sounds, you hear the music, you see the warthog, the titles look like 90s Disney. Mm-hmm. You go, this is the Lion King. I'm watching somehow I turned on Hannibal Rising, and yet somehow, by a twist of fate, I'm watching the Lion King. You know, something similar actually happened to me yesterday, where I put on Run Silent, Run Deep, and on the streaming service that I was watching it on, there wasn't Run Silent, Run Deep. It was a Return of a Man Called Horse. So, streaming services are now showing me sequels that I didn't even ask to watch. They're just assuming that, nah, you don't want to watch a really good original movie. You want to watch a shitty sequel.
Yeah. You told me to watch something great the other night. I said I am currently busy with 1985's magnificent The Jewel of the Nile.
That's what streaming services are trying to do to me as well. They don't want me to watch good movies. They want me to watch Richard Harris sequel westerns.
There you go.
Well, and this is... I feel like the only pleasure I got out of watching this movie was patting myself on the back at figuring out this movie right at the beginning. Because the first thing I wrote was Hannibal babies.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's exactly what this movie is. It's Hannibal babies.
Yeah.
And this is where I started to kind of poke holes in the timeline before realizing
it works.
I couldn't. It kind of works. It works as long as you accept that Hannibal Lecter is in his 50s when we first see him in Silence of the Lambs, which Anthony Hopkins was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. News to me that he was born in Lithuania.
So I tried to do some research on this, trying to figure out... It seems as though maybe even as far...
You shouldn't have to be doing the research. That should be done for you in the movie.
It seems as though even maybe all the way back in Red Dragon, they might have mentioned, in the book, they mentioned that he's from Lithuania. But we're right in the sense that none of these fucking movies talk about it.
None of the movies talk about it. And I guess it's another new idea is that that Hannibal Lecter was born out of the ultra-violence of the modern world. Like he's a product of modern warfare.
Yeah.
That doesn't really connect with me. I mean, again, it's something that historically is true for anyone of his generation, but does not apply to the individual that we've previously
come to know,
been introduced to. Yeah. And I think that's probably the problem with this movie in a nutshell. Is historically you're not wrong. There was cannibalism on the Eastern Front during World War II. What it's got to do with Hannibal Lecter? Absolutely nothing.
Well, even when
this guy made a choice.
Even when we have the kind of title effect of saying Lecter Castle, I think to myself, like, are we?
How you don't lean into that, like Dracula's castle?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Like how. How on the head of the nail are you trying to hit this character?
Well, now I'm thinking what you could have done is kind of a Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where you have Christopher Lee as Dracula as Lecter's dad in Lecter Castle.
Right.
And then we'll be like, well, I'm not surprised he turned out the way he did. Look who his dad is.
Right.
He's a night vampire.
And it's just like when you see a little boy who's hugging his sister and being protective, you're like, that's not the Hannibal Lecter I want.
Yeah, you more likely assume that Hannibal Lecter was going to come out of the trees and eat them.
Yeah, exactly. And take the place of that boy.
That would have been amazing. You thought that was Hannibal as a boy, and he just comes out, snaps his head off, and eats it whole.
Eats it, and the sister's freaking out, and he's like, "You shut your fucking mouth!" And then Reese Evans comes in, and he's like, "I'm her brother."
Oh, that would have been amazing. That's the movie we have to make.
Yeah.
Well, you said Reese Evans comes in. There's all these, so German, Lithuanians, all of them played by Brits.
Yeah, it seems is he.
Some of them with accents.
Yes, right. Are they Lithuanian and trying to prove themselves to the Germans?
Good question.
To join the SS?
We have the Germans and the Russians and the Lithuanians.
Yes.
And the movie is telling us that they're all the same.
Right.
And again, this is where I kind of doubt Thomas Harris's historical research, because, I don't know much about World War II. I'm not really I'm not a buff, but I don't think there were, as George Lucas would say, heroes on both sides. I know what we feel about the Russians after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But I think during World War II, they had a little bit of moral authority that is not necessarily represented here. Yeah, so that's all very confused to me.
Agreed.
They're just bad people who are bad people whether there's a war on or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what I got from it. And my next note is plane exploding into a tank.
Yes.
So we're into again. We're
plane attack and crash, and it seems to be shot in slow motion that isn't slow motion.
Interesting. Yeah, it's called bad filmmaking.
I think it's a model on a string that somebody was holding like this and just carrying down. I don't know.
If you have to ask, was that slow motion? Something's gone wrong.
Exactly. And the parents' deaths, by the way, like the melodrama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The dripping with goo melodrama doesn't seem to match. Again, it's not what I want for Hannibal Lecter. I don't want him.
He's too good for that.
I love that they're trying to sow as much sympathy for him as possible in these opening scenes, as if to say everything that he became justified.
Yeah, if his parents had survived, people wouldn't have got eaten.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, I made this point in the ranking episode, but it's the Rob Zombie effect, isn't it? What are we supposed to get out of knowing that this monster had a troubled childhood?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so much the point that there isn't a social explanation for what Hannibal Lecter is,
right?
Or that there might be, but that's not the full story.
Yeah, but
this is telling us that's the full story.
It's scarier if some medical student just woke up to one day and said, "You know what sounds good? People. I'm gonna start eating people."
Yeah, and in Hannibal's actually steering you in a different direction, where he's sort of saying he's in a long tradition of barbarism.
Mm-hmm.
of, going all the way back to the medieval era. That's the kind of that it's sort of, civilization trying to reconcile the animalism of humanity with its civilized side. And that's what Hannibal Lecter represents. He represents both sides of that. The cult, there's a educated, cultured part of it, and then there's the animal.
Sure.
The monster brings those two contradictions together. But this will tell us there is no contradiction, and that he's a victim of circumstances.
Of circumstance, yeah, exactly.
Like Peter Ustinov in Topkapi, he's a victim of circumstances. And it's also the other irony of this film's project is we have to watch a lot of inhumanity with the purpose of permitting us to understand the inhumanity we've already seen, even though we readily accept that inhumanity in the first place. Like, it's not as if the Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal are taking place in a world where serial killers don't really exist. So you don't have to culturally explain to us that there are serial killers out there. Mm-hmm. But yet this movie is sort of acting like that's a hard thing for us to understand as an audience. It's like, why do people kill? It's like, well, it's not really when it gets to serial killers, it's not really a matter of that. We just know they do.
Yeah, right. They must.
They're just a fact. It's a social fact that they're out there.
Yeah.
Why and how they do it is a different question, but we don't need to be convinced that there's reasons why they do.
Mm-hmm.
But just don't try to explain it to us as if it's something that's explainable.
Yeah, I don't need lots of close-ups of Reese digging into a bird, feathers and all, with malice, to make me understand why Hannibal is Hannibal.
Having never seen this movie before, I didn't know how far its stupidity was going to go in terms of what it was telling me was the origin story of Hannibal. Mm-hmm. I obviously knew that whatever happened to him in his childhood, in this moment, on the Eastern Front, made him who he was. I knew the movie was going to tell me that. But my first thought was that what happens is he sees the evil gang
mm-hmm.
kind of like eating raw flesh, and he thinks, that looks pretty good. Like this was where he got the idea to eat human flesh. That he's like, before the whole sister in a soup revelation. This was where
they're
it was just
looking
like,
for animals.
I was like, are they gonna leave it? I'm like, are they gonna leave it there? For a lot of the movie, I was thinking, are they gonna leave it there? He's like, that looks good. Like, when you have order envy in a restaurant, when you order something and then you look over at someone's table, you're like, I should have ordered that.
I should have got the person.
Or you're just looking at a diner. I should have ordered him. Oh, wait, I'm not a cannibal. What am I talking about? That's illegal. I'm not allowed to do that. I love that I said illegal and not, like, immoral. I'm on such shaky ground with Hannibal Lecter. I really don't disapprove of enough that he does. I really don't. I'm more disapproving of him in this movie, and the movie's telling me that I should be more sympathetic.
More sympathetic, exactly.
So weird. Well, we get to our first time jump.
Yes, because we got the wide-eyed horror of children's eyes fade to black. Time jump.
Which is what you want in your historical film, is to establish the period you're in and then immediately leave it. It's weird enough starting in the mid-1940s, if you ask me. Why we need a large gap in the timeline where key information is omitted. I don't understand.
All right, now this guy. I'm going to have a hard time with this name. I'll say Gaspard Ulliel.
You did say that. That's correct.
What do you think of this man? By the way, this man's dead. He died at 36 or something like that in a skiing accident.
Well, now I'm going to sound like an asshole if I don't say good things. Thank you for that.
I apologize. Because it's not going to stop me from from the things I feel I must say. But I
Can you imagine that? Like, you would never guess that of all the people who've played Hannibal Lecter, the 2 out of the 3 who are still alive are Brian Cox and Anthony Hopkins. Especially, even though I suspect he's younger than Anthony Hopkins, Brian Cox. I tell you, no, I have first-hand evidence of this. I went to the premiere of United 93, where Brian Cox was there incognito, cleverly disguised with sunglasses and a baseball cap. He's eating the biggest tub of popcorn I've ever fucking seen, and the biggest drink I've ever seen. So, it's remarkable that man is still... That was 2000 and something. It's remarkable that man is still alive. Having said that, you and I eat like that.
I was gonna say, I'm like having that.
But he's
same size
but
tub
he's
of
in
popcorn
Hollywood
once a week.
But he's diabetic as well, so I don't know how the fuck he gets away with that. Where was I?
Well, we were talking about this performance. I mean,
the actor,
I can't envy him.
No.
With how outsized Anthony Hopkins has been regarded within this role, and then him as a young actor, especially coming in and having
who
to
looks
do
nothing
this.
like Anthony Hopkins.
No,
as well.
That's the other part.
He looks more like Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
Which made me think, even though he would be far too old, why not just get Crispin Glover?
How great would that be?
It'd certainly be a more interesting movie. Better, I don't know. We might be talking about it as fun garbage.
I'm a dead fuck. You're going to be a dead eat.
I mean, he again, it's that sort of weird, weird sort of anonymity. Like, it doesn't bump, his performance doesn't bump me, but it doesn't interest me either.
Yeah.
So it's not particularly bad, because what is bad in a movie like this?
Right.
I mean, like I say, like, go to the back of the line. There's enough problems going on without the acting in this movie, but does it kind of break out from the mold it's in? Absolutely not. No, doesn't distinguish itself.
Yeah, there's I can't figure out what's going on with the accent.
Well, again, yeah, true.
And it's not his fault that
it's not his fault.
Peter Weber is choosing the shots that he chooses of lots of profile close to the face, blood spurting on it, and ooh.
But is it fair to lay that at his door when Anthony Hopkins has also not decided what accent he's using for Hannibal Lecter?
So you say.
In 2 movies so far. So I say, so it be. I really, I got chills when I heard all the singing the anthem to Stalin, like Grace around a dinner table.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope Trump hasn't seen this movie, because we're all going to have to sing his praises before every meal from now on, if that's the case. And Hannibal's mute at this point, right? That's how films represent trauma, by making people mute, which must be a real insult if you actually suffer from that.
Right.
But it's there for contrast only, I guess, because he's so loquacious.
He's a chatty Cathy.
In adult life. Yeah. I guess that's the point. And it reminds me that one of the big mistakes that prequels make is they go to the other extremes with their characters. Like, for instance, in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, when they introduce Scotty, he is yet to... He doesn't drink. So he basically has to become an alcoholic in the course of Strange New Worlds to add up with the hard drinking Scotty that we see at the beginning of Star Trek: The Original Series. And they haven't got a lot of time. Okay, they've written themselves into a timeline corner. Okay, but it's like, why always? And I see, there's other examples of it as well. And it's like, why work so hard?
Right.
Because now you have to take him from muteness to the chattiest person in the world.
To a big-time talker.
So why would you go to the other extreme? Have him start in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. But he starts talking pretty soon.
I was
anyway.
gonna say he talks fairly quickly
It's not a big deal. I thought it would have been hilarious if he was mute throughout the
whole movie.
And then you would be like, well, we really didn't like this guy's performance, so we made him a mute.
You know what it is about the performance? You know who he actually looks like? Who he should play the son of?
Crispin Glover.
No. Highlander. Lambert.
Christopher Lambert. I can imagine
he looks and
back
sounds
in the day,
like Lambert from Highlander with this
yeah.
kind of.
Which, by the way, is less convincing than a movie in which Sean Connery plays a Spaniard.
True.
Oh, I could were this movie made like 10, 20 years before, absolutely Christopher Lambert. Yeah, it's like, why? What are the pros and cons of having an unknown? I guess you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right?
Yeah.
If you cast someone known, you end up with the Aidan Erlenlich conundrum.
Right.
Well, he was a little bit known. No one's ever tried it. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's ever tried early years recast with someone equally famous as the person playing
right.
them. They always go to someone who's just starting out, or, I mean, River Phoenix would become bigger, but at the time he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So someone just needs to try it once.
It wasn't like a Culkin brother as Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, interesting. It's like the idea that they should have recast Carrie Fisher in the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah, right.
Like, someone should have actually had the balls to do that, but just cast it with someone really great, like Meryl Streep,
Mm-hmm.
who's already like, and I guarantee you by the end of the movie we'd be like, that kind of worked. I was kind of good.
Right.
Like Marge watching all the Christmas specials on TV in that Simpsons episode with the last Christmas Carol version that they watch is a Star Trek themed one, and Homer turns off the TV and she's like, actually that last one looked kind of good.
Well, the next thing you know, he's an orphan at his own home.
You saying orphans can't have homes?
Eventually, maybe they can, but
I know, it's bullshit.
but it's all like the only reason that his Lecter Castle is this orphanage is so that he can escape easily because he knows where everything is.
Yeah. And he's already having flashbacks to what we haven't seen, the crucial information.
The most important information that will be withheld from us until the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Yes. I was like, well, if he's already flashing back to it, doesn't that suggest we need to know it now? And then the first, doesn't he pick up a scythe?
Yeah, so he,
like,
I
he's
think,
deaf?
like, with his dinner fork, he stabs that bully in the leg or something. He stabs him somewhere. And then he gets in trouble. And then the bully wakes him up in the middle of the night and puts him in a dungeon. But he had picked up I think, in the dungeon, right? It's hard to follow.
These are basic questions the film should be
I was gonna
answering
say he
for us,
got
I
it
think.
before that because he goes and he's gonna
Just like garden maintenance or something?
No, he doesn't get it beforehand. I was remembering that wrong because he goes into the bully's room.
Uh-huh.
So he gets his letters that his mother put in a drawer that you think somebody would have opened that drawer in this entire fucking castle that they've taken over, but they don't.
Yeah, but Russians are stupid.
So
we all know that.
he gets his letters, he gets his scythe, he goes out from the dungeon and into the room where the kid that he attacked the first time is, which might be his old bedroom for all I know. Seems like it.
Would be good to know one way or the other, though, wouldn't it?
But you think he's going to slash his neck, but he doesn't. Doesn't he set him up or something?
I thought he killed him. But anyway, I was like, is this the origin story of Hannibal Lecter or Death from Final Destination? With this scythe. Yeah. Wait. Well, either way, he's not killing in a signature Hannibal way.
No,
yet.
right.
This is first draft. I'll go around with a scythe killing people.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they
This
show
is
us
very-
like a 5-minute montage of him riding trains and jumping fences.
The most depressing version of the Indiana Jones map that exists.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. That's what I wrote down.
With the fence and the train jumping. Yeah. It's a lot of the same imagery, but the music would be da, 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 da. That's a shout out to Tom Taylor there. Oh, and most of my notes are questions. we'll just have to get used to that.
Go on.
And again, I'm trying to bring this back to my own world and interests.
Go ahead.
But so you'll know what's coming. But I was trying to think, at what point did they? Oh, you've already half answered the question by saying they mentioned it in Red Dragon that he was European, because I did wonder whether Anthony Hopkins and I suppose Brian Cox playing Hannibal Lecter is what made him European, and that Harris did a retcon in the way that Ian Fleming did a retcon on making James Bond Scottish after Sean Connery had played him on screen, when he never was before. But it sounds like it's more baked in from the beginning.
I think so, but I don't know for sure.
Because, yeah, well, we disagree on how Southern he's supposed to be, so
True.
I guess this just makes it more muddy to have that discussion.
Now, does he get all the way from Lithuania to France on these trains? And
oh, that's not that far. It's all mainland Europe.
Yeah, but I don't know. You got to go through Poland.
Well, that's why we see him jumping fences.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I think
it just seems like a long way to go without, in the middle of a war and not be found or caught.
I mean, most British students, and maybe not now, but in my generation, they would take a gap year and go get a Interrail pass and just go all around Europe.
Yes, during not wartime.
I forget how that was supposed to support my argument that this movie that this movie got that right.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I'm trying to throw the movie a bone where I can and place it in the sister soup.
Well, then he finds Lady Murasaki.
Yes, we've got to worship some terracotta warriors for a while.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you associate with Hannibal Lecter is the Eastern influences on his lifestyle.
Japanese culture.
We've heard nothing but how Asian culture has inspired him in his lifestyle. If you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic. No, none of this has been why you would introduce this now. I do not understand.
This makes.
I mean, you're barely getting away with the idea that he's a European. Why would you introduce that he's an Asian fetishist in the middle of this when it's never previously been discussed?
Yeah, it's fairly remarkable.
And again, I think it's onion belt syndrome. Because Batman Begins, right? He's martial arts training.
Yeah.
It's just what we're doing. It's just how we're, these are just the building blocks now of how we do origin stories.
I guess, but I can buy it more for Batman. It explains how he could fight, at least.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like it doesn't explain anything.
No.
It's not like, they're a tradition. They're not it's not come from a tradition of cannibals, unless I grossly misunderstand ancient Asian history. They were not known to be cannibals. Maybe they thought it's like, well, it'd be too racist if we did it with that he's obsessed with Africans and that's how he's cannibal. So we'll just make it Asian to split the difference. I thought I detected, and this might be too smart for this movie, a Marathon Man reference.
Oh,
when she uses oil of clove.
for the sword?
Mm-hmm. But maybe that's just what you use on swords.
It's been a long time since I watched Marathon Man.
Oh, when he's
Is that what he's
doing the
using on his tooth?
dentistry sequence, he goes, simple oil of clove.
Okay.
Another great actor. Another great screen presence. And he was Hopkins was a protege of
Yeah,
Laurence
that's
Olivier.
true. You know what? I feel like we should take a break.
And he dubbed him, I'll leave it on this trivia note, he dubbed him on Spartacus. In the re-release of Spartacus.
Oh.
So, you know the scene in Spartacus with the gayest scene in the movie where Tony Curtis is bathing Laurence Olivier as his slave, and they're having a conversation about whether you prefer snails or oysters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he says, I enjoy both
Dick.
snails and oysters. Yeah. Do you like dick or pussy? And it's like, I like both dick and pussy. Well, Tony Curtis redubbed it, but Laurence Olivier was dead because it was like 1990, I think, was the remaster. And this was a scene that was lost, and they hadn't done the ADR for. So it's Anthony Hopkins doing all of Laurence Olivier's lines.
Oh, okay.
It's a note perfect Olivier. You would not notice.
Interesting.
Yep. Well, I gotta find something to talk about that's interesting. Because this movie ain't it.
All right, we'll be right back right after this.
With more Laurence Olivier tangents coming up.
I like to think I know something about beer, but nowadays even I get overwhelmed when confronted by the exhaustive selection of craft beers they have at bars, breweries, and even grocery stores. Back in the day you had one, maybe two craft beers to choose from, and if you were confused, you ordered a Guinness. But in beerstinations like San Diego, the craft beer options lately are in double, sometimes even triple digits. So what's a beer drinker to do? You need what I need, the Vegas Beer Guys. Your beer of choice should be a perfect blend of malt and hops. And so a live show about beer needs that same balance. And the Vegas Beer Guys matches beer expert Dan Aker with self-proclaimed beer novice Stephen J. Weiss. The results are eminently drinkable. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll try new beers, they'll tell you about beer. Think of them as your beer Sherpas guiding you up a foamy-headed mountain to reach the peak of your pint. God, I need a beer.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and I are here, kind of discussing Hannibal Rising and many, many, many other things. The Hannibal Rising part, directed by Peter Weber.
You know what else sucks?
Other than Peter Weber?
I was trying to think of a different way to phrase it, and then I went, no, I'll go with my original thought. Another way to read this is that it's just a coincidence that he became a cannibal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this life event could so easily not have happened that he might have, his thing might have been...
Just been a productive doctor and member of society.
Well, his thing might have been sex, or his thing might have been, slicing people's nipples off, or, his serial killer MO could have been anything.
Yeah, right.
And I think that cheapens the character as well. Anyway, it's just that, meat just happens to be where men who threaten him are. There's a lot of meat around
Yeah.
when he's experiencing trauma that will later lead to PTSD. That's what the movie's telling us.
Yeah.
Like Tony Soprano with the gabagool, right?
Exactly.
Oh, maybe that was a precedent.
Oh, man.
The Sopranos ended in 2007, so...
Oh, that's true.
It's likely. with that great ending.
I like the ending.
Let's not talk about that. I'm fine with the ending.
All right. Well, he's learning to be a samurai.
Yeah, and he's learning at a proto version of the muzzle.
Yes.
What is? I mean, you know,
dumb.
Obviously someone sent word that we've got to see the mask in some form, right? Because Hannibal turned it into the Iron Man mask, so now it's got to be there. But they've got no compelling story reason to have it in the movie until in the timeline he's in prison for being a cannibal,
right?
Because nobody's going to put it on him if he's not a known cannibal. So their idea is we'll factor it in. Maybe this was the impetus for having any Eastern imagery in the film altogether.
That was my thought. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really? You thought, okay. I just thought of that, but that's... If you think that too, let's say it's true.
It's the only way we can get a half a mask on a man.
But it's as if it's his, like, superhero costume.
Yeah.
Which is so
May as well be the S on his chest.
Yep, exactly. I'd buy an S on his chest more.
Yes.
For like, you know how on sometimes on a salt shaker, the whole spell S on the top. That's what it could be like for Hannibal.
Yeah.
He has S on the front, and then on the back it says P. Salt and pepper. Seasoning. The importance of seasoning.
Exactly.
But it's all okay because McNulty's on the case.
McNulty's on the case because this fat, rude fishmonger.
I forget what the actual actor's called. What's his name?
Oh, you mean
Dominic West.
Dominic West?
Yeah.
He's
So
actually
he's
one
just
of the
McNulty.
few things in this movie that I can tolerate.
It's so weird that... I mean, yeah, he's I've seen him play characters in this historical milieu before, and he's perfect for it. He looks like a British person from the... Well, he's not British in this, but he looks like a European person from the 1950s. He always has. Mm-hmm. But it's just so weird how in this movie he's chasing a real serial killer, whereas in The Wire he's pretending to be one for funding. It's like, what a weird career that man's had in terms of the roles he's played. And more British people. I mean, I don't know.
Well, my question...
Even for a 2007 movie, there's a lot of British people in this movie.
Yeah, but, you know...
A concerning amount of British people.
Well, they're all the true monsters.
Yeah, but... why... They don't... I would have gone, like, Danish or German in places. And it feels like they didn't... They went British, like,
across the
from
board.
soup to nuts. Soup to
nuts.
I keep using food analogies.
Well, they wanted people that I guess
soup to testicles.
People could recognize, because like Richard Brake's in this. You got Reese. You've got I think it's what's his name? He plays Colness, the Kevin McKidd. Where it's like
Kevin
an
McKidd
actor
from
I recognize.
Trainspotting mainly is kind of known for, but he's also in Rome and Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's, but they're all kind of like somewhat internationally known British actors.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know if you want to sell this whole.
Well,
if you want to sell this whole mainland Europe thing, there are plenty of like Danish, German, Swedish actors out there. You know, give me a Skarsgård or something.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them. They're like Baldwins. There's plenty of them. But I don't know. But
some
anyway,
of them would have been quite young.
Again, it's a minor quibble in a movie that is weighed down by those quibbles. Mm-hmm. So, actually, I'm gonna say that one of my only positives is I would like to see more of his cooking and etiquette lessons.
Yeah.
Because that connects with what we know about Hannibal Lecter. But here it's like, see, it's kind of incidental because...
That's the shit that I wanted Lady Murakami to...
Murakami? Sakatumi, baby. Lady Sakatumi, baby, yeah.
That's what I called her.
Yeah. You wish.
No, I think I
She's
told you
stunning.
the other day, every time I wrote a note, I just called her Lady Smoke Show.
She made beautiful.
So stunning.
But I like the idea of, I don't know, maybe he was training to be in the food world.
Mm-hmm.
More so than him being in medical school. I mean,
Well,
I
he
can't,
needs to be
I'm
in
asking,
medical school,
I'm asking
but
for.
I would...
Does he?
Well,
Couldn't
he's a
he have
doctor.
retrained? He couldn't he have retrained? I mean, that all happens after this movie, so it doesn't matter.
I guess so.
This movie makes it redundant.
But I thought, I assumed going into this that she would be teaching him all the culture stuff.
It's just her manservant, right? Who's teaching her valet is teaching him,
Occasionally,
and head chef.
he's the
yeah.
one
and
talking
only,
about
like
fish
you say.
cheeks. So,
And this, I don't know, that to me, because I guess only because it connects with what we know about Hannibal and nothing else does.
yeah.
But, that would be really good if this is almost just like a food biography about a that starts out as being about a famous chef, and then halfway through the movie you realize it's Hannibal Lecter. That's kind of what the TV series of Hannibal is
true.
almost. Well, this is around the time he got the idea to stand in the dark and surprise women by saying good evening.
Yes.
That's where he got the idea to do that.
Also, like, taking a big leap. He's cutting off that fishmonger's head, and he takes it back to his mistress as though he's like a cat bringing in a mouse.
Absolutely, yeah.
Look what I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they completely misjudge the point at which she leaves him
Yes, right.
in this movie. It should either be much earlier or much later.
Has to be one or the other. She goes right
Has
in the
to be
middle.
one of the. When it makes no sense that she leaves when she does, given what she's already seen and what she's willing to put up
Exactly.
with. Well, he gets interrogated. He gets polygraphed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our first evidence.
Somebody,
this is our first
doesn't somebody
link to
say
the
he has
police
no
procedural.
feelings whatsoever?
Yeah, he's vanilla, I think they say. It's completely... Again, I don't think they said that in 1950s, but I don't think they used vanilla as a way of detracting someone. I think vanilla was well established in the 1950s as being a good thing.
Sure.
Hence the 1950s. But this is our first ever... The first, tenuous connective tissue to the idea of a police procedural, which, of course, these movies these movies and books began as. It's the first link to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
But barely.
And then, the point of... This is where the point of the movie... This is where the point of the movie first happens. Because they have the conversation where McNulty says... I don't know what he's called in the movie. McNulty
Popple.
says... Popple?
Popple.
Yeah, I'm calling him
McNulty's
McNulty.
better.
McNulty's way... Popple? Like people?
Popil.
You want people food? I can get you people food. He sort of says I investigated war crimes. That's what these look like.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, you've made your point.
But you're bothering me, just so you know.
Well, that's the line. That's the company line, right?
Yeah.
Hannibal does what he does because, not literally, but he's a veteran of war.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you do after you've been through a war. And again, not historically untrue for anyone of his generation, but it tells us nothing about him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than of when and where he grew up. Which is also kind of news to us anyway. So. But this is where he gets the idea of fucking with people who are investigating him.
Well, she puts the head on the pike to help him get out.
Yeah, right. But he's already doing that thing that we that we castigated him for in the last movie of casting more suspicion on himself by trying to play mind games with the investigator.
Yeah.
the police officer. And again, that ruins it for me as well. That ruins it for me as well, because I always assumed that was a product of him, of his years as a psychologist, that's psychiatrist, that's how he learned to do that.
Yeah, right.
So if you're telling me that he did that naturally without any training as a psychiatrist, again, that makes it seem like a superpower that
he has
that
not
is
earned.
nothing to do,
Right.
that he has absolutely
Nothing
not
to do
earned
with his
and
training.
Otherwise, why is he a psychiatrist?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he doesn't need to be a psychiatrist. I thought that was why he was a psychiatrist, so he could play psychological
fuck around with people,
mind games with people, as opposed to just kind of outwit them in a way that, you know, any smart person would.
And then there's that whole thing of does he watch McNulty?
It's not my. What I'm saying is, this is not my Hannibal Lecter.
I understand.
So I wish I wish that wasn't what I was saying, but that is what
But
I'm
it
saying.
is what you're saying. Doesn't he watch McNulty question the death row inmate?
Mm.
And what is it, like sodium pentothal?
Yes.
And he gives himself some to try and remember.
Mm.
So he brings it. He brings out again
Is that why
memories
he
in dreams.
Is that why he gives himself it?
I think so.
Because there's a better reason to give himself to it, which is to kind of like try and make himself immune to it by taking small doses of it. God, that's how. That's
So disappointed.
I'm already writing a better film in my head than this one turned out to be. Yeah, so...
But once he starts
I mean,
remembering, then he can go to Russia. He can go to Lithuania.
yes. Well, he sort of... I mean, and also, you kind of glossed over something in these scenes, which is that he's kind of become a police consultant.
He just seems to be around, like he's there to get the body when they're done. It's like...
Yeah, I agree. Massive coincidence that he
yeah.
is. But nonetheless he is. Which, but I mean, that's IP, isn't it? That's
medical school now.
It is as tenuous as The Mask.
Sure, right.
It's like this is where he first gets the idea to consult with the police on crimes while secretly being a criminal.
Right, the one they're looking for.
This is the first instance of that. And you know, the other, I think, where Thomas Harris does himself dirty. Like I don't want to think that Hannibal likes classical music because it reminds him of, his youth before the war took his country. Like, I always thought that was an affectation of like his love of classical music. It's an aspect of his cultured nature, not because it was the music that was around in his childhood. That it was the style at the time. More onion belts, anyway. And again, I think this is just sloppy filmmaking, but the flashbacks that he has couldn't possibly be from his perspective.
No, yeah, right.
But again, it's like in Hannibal when the voiceover doesn't match what's on the page, the letter. We've learned nothing. We've learned absolutely nothing. And this is where he learns to become a sketch artist.
He's sketching body parts and whatnot.
His sister's he's trying to catch his sister's killers.
Oh yeah, that's
Once
right.
Again,
he's drawing their faces too.
Once again, I thought, that's got nothing to do with... There's no reason for that. He's just an artist. That's what I always thought. That it's... Because when you see him in the prison, in the cage, in...
Silence
of the Lambs, he's sort of just drawing for pleasure.
and yeah, from memory.
And it's like... Can't that just be something he likes to do? Not something that... was connected to this cataclysmic childhood event that has shaped his entire life.
They could have shown us in the beginning, but they didn't have time. They had parents to kill.
It's a real Indiana Phoenix, as as Alex from Star Wars Minute would say. Yeah. The more warthogs at this point, I seem to remember.
Are there? I know he goes back.
Oh, yeah, we're in the woods.
Because he goes back to his second childhood home, his non-castle home. And
Right.
Richard Brake is watching him as he gets the pearls and stuff out of, Pig's mouth that was mounted on the wall, right?
Yes. And I, like you, thought that this was a weird non-reference to Hannibal, the pigs.
Yeah.
But not even the same pigs. No, you can't even get the same pigs. Well, I mean, we talked about this in the ranking episode, and I don't think there's much more to say about it, but, you know, do you think of Hannibal Lecter as a vigilante out of control?
No, yeah, exactly.
You know, he started, you know, like he's like one of those guys on the New York subway in the 70s who, like, started out with good intentions to you know, help innocent people not get mugged, and then ended up, like, you know, policing the job.
Now he's in the woods saying, "This ain't over."
You shut up my melons. I was gonna make melon balls out of those.
Your cheeks look tasty.
Yeah. This reminded me of the... I don't know if you've seen the Family Guy sketch of how Reese's got invented.
No.
There's like a guy. It's like two drivers coming on a collision course with each other. One of whom they're supposed to be like drug addicts, but one of them is like chowing down on a chocolate bar. The other one is chowing down on a jar of peanut butter. They crash into each other, and then the chocolate bar falls in the in the peanut butter, and then the police car comes by and it's like, "Hello, I'm Officer Reese's," and then he tastes it and goes, and then he shoots them both. And, and I was just like, this whole idea of learning that you compare cheeks with mushrooms.
Yeah, right.
I'm just like, you know, why is he a cannibal? Like, why is he a cannibal? I mean, the movie tells us why he's a cannibal, but why does he? It doesn't explain why he wants to be a cannibal.
Yeah, right.
As opposed to just someone who murders people who've wronged him.
That's the problem I have, is that it just is all in service of revenge, as opposed to, like with a serial killer, it's got to be their kink.
Exactly.
Not a punishment.
Not a punishment, and also he's into cannibalism before he remembers that
Yeah,
they ate his
right,
sister.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's a separate issue.
Well, he might remember that they ate her, but they don't. Because doesn't he remember the boiling pot before this?
So so he remembers that much. He just doesn't remember that he ate her too.
Right.
But then, that's the extra step you need for this story to make sense,
yeah, right?
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that I mean, and we'll get to this, but to me, it's no more.
Although him eating his own sister makes it seem as though, for the person that we see in the later movies, it's as though he must have. It's as if this whole movie was a mistake. Like, he should have said, "Yo, you know what? Good on you guys. That was actually pretty tasty stuff. I shouldn't be killing all of you. You've done me a great service."
Yeah, and wouldn't it? Well, because there's two things here. I think it's no more complex than saying, you know, saying that he became a cannibal because criminals ate his sister is no different from like when someone becomes a bully after having been bullied.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, you could take it in exactly the opposite direction and say the last thing he'd ever want to do in his life is cannibalism. After he accidentally ate his sister in the soup.
After the horror of being fed his own sister.
Like, I would have believed he was a cannibal up until that point that he found that out. But after
that's
that,
why
it's
he has
hard
that.
to take.
That's why the actor has that silent scream at the end when he tells him, when he's like, "No," because that's the internal struggle. Is like, but I like it so much.
But it pairs so well with mushrooms. I would have bought that more. That was the struggle. Wow. It's chicken and egg, I think, isn't it?
What's that? Oh,
well,
yeah.
Like it's chicken egg situation, because would he have wanted to be a cannibal if he hadn't enjoyed eating his sister? Again, I'm doing more work for the movie. Forget it. They make no mention that he enjoyed that at the time. Right. But that's the only way it makes sense. I added that, so forget it.
Fucking unbelievable.
That's all interpretation, but none of that's in the movie.
He pulls on the rope so hard that Richard Brake kind of explodes, because there's that close-up shot of the blood hitting his face, and he kind of wipes it and licks
Do we see
it.
any bulging eyes?
Yes.
Or again, yeah, we do. Okay, I thought I might have Mandela affected that as well. But
that's a real thing that happened.
He does a little bit of Milton, what's his name in the character? I want to say Milton Berle. It's not Milton Berle. Milton Crest in License to Kill.
Oh, okay.
Played by Anthony Zerber. Look at me.
Ooh.
2 names with minimal pulling.
I like when he goes back after he kills Richard Brake. I gotta find my note. There it is. So he...
Real time, everyone. In real time, you heard that.
He goes back to Lady Smoke Show, and she says this is how great her cooking olfactories are working, because she says, "You smell like smoke and blood."
What a line.
That's amazing.
What a line for this movie. And do I detect a hint of oregano? Oh, I'll never tell. Well, we're doing what we did in the last movie, and we're fattening up people for the kill amongst this. Not that they need much fattening up.
Mm-hmm.
But Rhys Evans has gone from being an SS wannabe looter killer to a female slave trader.
Right? Like, none of these guys seemed exactly on the ball enough to, like, become a criminal empire.
Yes. Well, I mean, again, maybe I don't know enough about history, but I like the idea that they weren't able to be criminals until the war was over. I mean, isn't it normally the opposite way around? Like, there's during the war, there's the black market.
Yeah, right.
Are they basically saying that peacetime is just a haven for criminals? Because surely war is
They make it seem like they learned an awful lot during the war, but near as I could tell, they just holed up in a cabin and ate kids.
Yeah. Right.
That little girl must have lasted a long time.
I ate him. You heard me. Yes. Yeah.
Misha.
And he's a Hannibal is a sloppy serial killer as a young man. He hasn't learned how to become a good serial killer yet. Yeah. So he's got all those drawings and maps.
Oh, he's producing all the clues that lead straight to him.
Yes. And I hope this taught him a lesson never to do drawings and maps of the people you're going to kill and where they are. But because you don't have DNA evidence in the 1950s, he escapes their clutches. Yeah, this is where we get a kind of paraphrasing of Chilton's line from Silence of the Lambs, where he says that they sort of say, you know, what is he? There's no word for it except monster.
Yeah, right.
Well, what is it Chilton said? Like, there's only one word for it.
No, he just says, because Scott Glenn says, never forget what he is.
Yeah.
And she says, and what is that? And then hard cut to Chilton saying, well, he's a monster.
Yeah. So that's all. I think that's a reference back to that now.
Probably.
Maybe. But again, a bit like the warthogs. Not quite the same pig. Speaking of pigs, we had the expanding head, and now we got the roast pig face.
We do?
One of the kills, he does him up like a roast pig.
Oh, yeah. I thought we'd passed that, though.
Okay.
That's Richard Brake.
Okay. Oh, it's the same character. I think this is where he's found. They do the delayed.
Oh, yeah, that might be true. Because
So
they have that overhead shot of the army guys or whoever coming up and finding him.
I mean, it's nowhere near, Ray Liotta's brain.
No, yeah.
Gary Oldman's face, but that's fine.
Sure. It's whatever.
And are they trying to do like a fedora thing with Rhys Ifans? Like, he's sort of at the same time that he's Hannibal's adversary, he's also a kind of a role model for what he'll become.
Oh.
Because the scene where he says, I love myself that much, and I'm like, is this where Hannibal gets the idea to become vain? Because he's more like Rhys Ifans when we meet him as an older man.
Right.
But you think he'd want to avoid becoming him. In the same way that, Fedora in... Yeah, he's sort of like, You
got beat today, kid. You have to accept it, but you don't have to like it.
You have all these morals now, but by the time you go chasing for the Ark of the Covenant, you'll have lost them all.
You'll be a monster.
And then you'll get them back just in time to fight the Nazis over getting the Holy Grail. And then you'll reset again about 10 years later. And then who knows what's going on with you when you're in your fucking 70s, man. Yeah, and then he right after this, Rhys Ifans needlessly kills one of his sex slaves.
Yes.
Because this movie keeps reminding us that he deserves to die.
Oh, is he bad? I forgot.
It's like in Karate Kid 3 with Terry Silver, where it's like he deals in toxic waste as well. I think you've established he's the villain.
Pretty bad already. All right, I think we should take one more break and then come back.
Yeah. Gotta say, another high point of Cobra Kai when they're reading Terry Silver's online information about Terry Silver. It's like, involved in several toxic waste scandals in the 1980s.
That was my bag, you see. All right, we'll be back right after this. If you like podcasts like I do, boy, do I have a treat for you. You need to
stay on target
and check out the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Listen as your host, sound designer and music creator Tony Parham, and co-host, musical performer and sound lover Derek Hansen, D-Rock if you're nasty, and I am, discuss all things sound related to film, television, stage, and theatrical productions. They discuss environmental sounds, bioacoustics, dialogue, the nature of communication through sound, but as an added bonus, they drink beer and try to
stay on target.
Find them wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the pure mania of a man who can charitably be described as Doug, the dog from Up, and another man with a soothing and sultry voice trying to get that man to
stay on target.
That's the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Tune in and listen to the sounds they are creating just for you. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Tom and I are here chatting it up about Hannibal Rising in all its glory.
As much as we humanly can. Chat up a movie that deserves no discourse.
Yeah, it's one of those... It's funny, because as I watch this movie, there's so many kind of back-to-back scenes of different characters in different places that are very far away, where
baby back.
Yeah,
Ribs, you might
maybe.
say.
Like he's in Russia, but Popple's talking to the smoke show, but Reese is killing a hooker somewhere, and like it's just kind of on and on and on.
Mm.
And by the time, and that can last for 10 to 15 minutes, where you start to think to yourself, what's happening? I feel like a lot of things have happened and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
And that happens several times throughout the film.
Yeah. There's also, in the middle of this, there's a contrived kitchen attack. Where I was almost expecting Hannibal's like getting one of the gang and he's kind of chasing him around a kitchen. And I was like, is he going to accidentally fall into flour and herbs? Like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer's covered in butter. And Newman's like, just hold this garnish.
Well, because there's also, Reese sends some henchmen to try and kill him at medical school. And there's that whole kind of set piece.
Yeah.
Of him sneaking up on him and then using the arm that he cut off as bait. So that he can capture him and put him in the tank. And Popple's coming. McNulty's coming to question him.
Yeah.
I can't say that they raised the tension in those scenes as he was approaching, but it was as close as they were ever going to get.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's interesting where we are with the character at this point, because I think we've got to assume that, maybe not to his eyes, but Hannibal Lecter has killed innocent people by the time we meet him in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Even I wouldn't try and argue otherwise.
Right.
My only caveat is he doesn't see it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a point of like, he doesn't say I don't do children, but, essentially, he won't kill children.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
this
that should
movie
be like
isn't
veal
even
for him.
Silence of the Lambs. Did we comment on the lamb chop in... Is it lamb chops or pork chops?
Lamb chops, yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, lamb chop?
I think so.
Okay.
Lamb chops, extra rare.
Yeah. If we missed that, we should retire. So, yeah, again, like, that's different from what we know. So this movie should really be answering how he went beyond those original rules of only murdering guilty people who deserve to die, even outside of his own moral code. And why... Well, maybe he doesn't kill children. I don't know. It's not... I mean, do you think he kills that kid on the plane?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a book beyond Hannibal?
Well, Hannibal Rising is the last book.
Chronologically.
Oh, I see. No.
Okay. Yeah, I really... Again, I'm just writing a different movie. I really wanted him to be wearing a meat vest.
A meat vest?
Yeah, you know how he
right?
has a skin... Yeah, a skin vest... You're like, surely I'm having a stroke. I didn't hear you just say meat vest, did you? But because he comes out, the reason I say that is he comes out in his samurai armor with the sword.
When's that?
And towards the end. Well, I think when he's fighting Ivans, and he gets his samurai sword out, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be good if he wore like meat armor? And that would be an inversion of the skin mask from Silence of the Lambs. Don't comment on that. There's nothing for you to say. You don't think if he was in like a kind of samurai outfit, completely made of meat?
I understood.
Oh, it's not that you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay,
unclear.
I'm with you. Oh, you have some issue with it? I don't
I think
couldn't
you
imagine
might
what
be
that would possibly
happy
be.
To the point of maybe not making good story ideas.
Oh, so it's fine to put someone's face on his face, but he can't wear a suit made of meat? What are you talking about? Up in the ante.
Classic
But-
sequel shit. Up in the ante.
Even if that's not the alternative,
Meat Vest.
there's a moment where something should happen other than him just producing a sword. It should be something... Like, maybe that's the moment he should put the mask on.
Yeah, I mean, I remember... Let's see.
It should be some... There's a moment where it's like... Here's a turning point.
Mm-hmm.
But all he does is raise a sword, and I'm like... It should be something that we know about. Like, I've decided to be a psychiatrist! Way! Something more like, aha, I know how to use a sword. Well, yeah, we saw you learn how to use a sword. What's interesting about that?
Yeah, because he goes to get... You do see part of the kind of intellect of Hannibal Lecter able to predict. Like, he has a plan for if he gets caught, which is that bomb
Mm-hmm.
when he's attacking Reese.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, because he has a gun, right? But then he has... It's not a full sword, but he's got that short sword on
Yeah.
his back.
Right.
And then he gives him the Fred Gwynn treatment.
Yes. As it was known in the 1950s as well.
Sure.
I gave him the old Fred Gwynn, eh? Who's Fred Gwynn? You'll learn
You'll
about
know,
him in about
he'll
10 years'
come soon.
time.
Don't worry.
He'll play a Frankenstein in a TV show in about 10 years' time. Your mother was a Frankenstein and your father was a your mother was a Dracula. How did you become a werewolf? And the twist, the twist of the movie is that he was a cannibal all along.
Right.
It's like a Twilight Zone scenario.
Well, I get, and there's this weird moment too. Like, my next note is at one point, Lady Smoke Show kind of tries to seduce him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it's like everything she's seen and done and seen him do. It's just weird that, like, she doesn't succeed in seducing him, so that's when she leaves, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a weird line in the sand.
Very strange. I'm offering you sex, which you've clearly wanted all this time for many, many years. But now you're more interested in eating people? I gotta go.
It's like, I'll counter you sex and you can have one of my fingers.
Right.
Well, I have 6, so only in the books. Yes.
All right.
Well, I think you've already discussed my next point, which is, why the hell has he not changed his name when he goes to Canada?
Oh, I'm not a Canada yet.
Oh, what happens? What happens of note between then and Canada?
The whole boat scene.
Boat scene? Does unrated mean Hannibal, the scenes missing version?
So they're at... I don't know where they're at when he attacks Reese in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the boat? Now I'm confused.
Isn't this all happening on a boat?
No,
At this
there's
point?
like that bomb blows up in some kind of home or something. I thought on the side of a hill, and
Okay.
then
Take your word for it.
she tries to seduce him. He says no.
He finds out that he was a cannibal all along.
Yeah, because he tells him. Oh, that's what it is. I think Reese kidnaps
Mm-hmm.
the Smoke Show,
Lady
puts
Smoke.
her on the boat.
Lady Smoke Show.
And he goes back to that cheese shop or whatever Kid owns,
Yeah.
and threatens him. You know, kind of
That's
like
right.
lets him know that I've got your kids, and it turns out he was lying the whole time. And,
That's right. I vaguely remember that now.
all right. And then he sneaks onto the boat.
Hmm.
Ringing any bells?
Yeah, it is. I just don't know what's worth discussing about any of this.
I don't know. It's just something that happens in the movie.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, yeah, he stabs him in the chin, and it goes through the head, right?
Yes.
Point out the top.
Yeah, like a kebab. Face kebab.
There was one part...
Face kebab.
There was one part where I thought to myself, they didn't treat us like we were idiots. And that's when Reese shoots him in the back, and we think that he's paralyzed, or the character thinks he's paralyzed, but we as the audience know that sword was in the back the whole time.
Ah.
And that it took the bullet.
Interesting.
And then he takes out what's left of it, and that's when he stabs him.
Awfully late in the day for that kind of
Yes.
switcheroo. I'm going to start treating you with respect now. Roll credits.
And then that's when he tells him he ate the sister and all that, and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what about that shot of, like, the churning water, but they put a bunch of red light on it to just make it seem like it's flowing blood?
Yeah.
That's a bit over the top.
Well, we've got, there's a way to do red light in a scene. And we've seen it in
Silence of the Lambs, yeah.
But this is Hannibal Rising, which is a whole different
Here's
animal.
one thing I didn't understand at all.
Okay.
She's off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's saved. Is Popple there? Is McNulty there?
Isn't he on a
I think
bridge?
McNulty's there. Yeah, like on a bridge.
Yeah.
And then the boat blows up.
Yeah. Now,
and then they
case closed as far as the 1950s are concerned.
Yeah, like they think he's dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't he want to keep that completely secret? Like, why does he step out of the woods for her to see him and then step back into the woods? Like, that leaves a door open for the police to know. Like, I think that's weird. He should have just left. It's not like we were connected to their relationship enough to think that her seeing him matters.
It's like you fake your own death and then you turn up at your own funeral. One or the other, guys.
All right.
Homie, you haven't faked your own death again, have you?
Again.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I have apart from blame Canada. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that he would keep the name Hannibal Lecter with whatever happens next, which the movie doesn't seem interested in, even though it's all the viewers are interested in. Yeah, I already talked about how this is, the low bar of IP cinema is not even met with this scene.
No, yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. All they have to do is literally... You could even just have him cross the American border and hand over his passport or something and say, what are your... the customs officer saying, purpose of your visit? I'm becoming a psychiatrist. That's all we need.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to school.
Yeah. Or maybe just sort of like, he bumps into Sigmund Freud somewhere between Canada and America.
You have interesting insight. You should become psychiatrist.
And then he slips. It's a Freudian slip. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. What about you?
I wrote blood and water credits.
Oh, okay. I have that too. I described it as a blood, smoke, silk background.
Yeah.
Which is very screensaver. Also, not deciding what the imagery is, except that it is composed of images.
It's got that at least.
It's images.
It's imagistic.
It's imagery that is just images.
Yeah.
Credits at the end. We only get the title at the beginning, so clearly they are trying to imitate what we do with what we're doing with James Bond and Batman.
Die Hard 2.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's the reference point. I think the reference point is Casino Royale and Batman
Oh, no,
Begins.
clearly they were going for Die Hard too.
Those other two superhero prequel
Die Harder.
origin stories. Some of the character names: Butcher Brothers, Paul the Butcher, Vegetable Dealer. All great character names that could also be euphemisms
Yes.
for crime and sex. Hans Eschkeri score mixed at North Pole.
Oh,
Seems like a long way to go.
that's far.
The acoustics must really be excellent if they're willing to make that leap. And then I noticed at the end of the movie, you know how for copyright reasons, individual movies create limited companies, presumably to... Well, I don't know if it's copyright-based or tax-based, probably a combination of both. But they create limited companies for the movie. Presumably so they're not taxed up the ass, and also they can claim copyright. But tellingly, the name of the company they created is not Hannibal. It's usually like just the name of the movie, Limited. But what they've actually called it is Young Hannibal Limited. And they really should have gone with that for the title, because that's exactly what it is. It's Young Hannibal. In the same way Young Indiana Jones bears no resemblance to Indiana Jones.
I was thinking Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon? Young anything? Young The Rock? What's that called? Young Adam? Young...
I don't remember.
He's not young Black Adam. There's a young Dwayne. What's The Rock's real name?
No, there's young Chris Rock. Everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris, yeah. No, young... Oh, there is a young Dwayne, young Johnson. Young Johnson.
Young Johnson.
Oh, okay. I gotta look this up. There is definitely...
That's a little kid's dick, I tell you.
Young... Okay, Rock...
You look it up, and I'll tell you the one credit check that I found that was odd to me.
Okay.
Costumes worn by Gong Li and Rhys Ifans by Fendi.
Oh, yes.
Did you notice that?
No.
Like, why did these two characters... Why are they the only ones costumed by this entity?
I don't
know what Fendi is.
I don't want to...
It's all capital letters. Fendi.
I don't want to detract from your credit check, but I rejected that credit check now. I do remember it, and I remember rejecting it.
It seems right up your alley, frankly. I'm surprised you rejected it.
Well, that's what someone who doesn't do credit checks thinks that people who do credit checks would be interested in. I don't have an answer.
You've insulted me, sir. Taste my glove.
I don't have an answer, but in a way, I got something way better.
Okay.
Because what I typed in was, ill-advisedly, to the internet... You may have heard of it. Rock prequel. And what it gave me was a series of articles. Rocky prequel TV show teased by Sylvester Stallone. Listen, one of the headlines to the articles is a quote from Stallone. And you know what the quote is? Seems to write itself. Oh man, that's great. So, but still, there is a Dwayne Johnson as a young man.
Yeah, I'm
Dwayne.
Kind of remembering it now.
Young
Rock.
It is called Young Rock.
Yeah.
Well, Young Johnson doesn't sound as bad now. I bet they tossed it about in the room for a while.
Yeah, Young Rock.
Yeah, none of those shows work. None of those shows, none of those movies, nothing.
All right, calm down.
We keep doing them. My favorite one is the one that didn't actually happen, only featured in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Young Larry. You remember that in Curb Your Enthusiasm when he ends up casting a young Latina actor as his as his mother.
Right.
And he's just like, the forces of wokeness just compel. He just can't fight them. There's nothing he can do about it. And she's like she's the thing that's most acclaimed about it at the end.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anything left?
No.
No more costume notes?
As I said, I rejected that. I rejected your suggestion, so no.
Nonsense.
Standards.
All right. We'll put our costume fight to the side for now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to tell us what you think, ladies and gentlemen. What do you make of Hannibal Rising? Well, if you're going to let us know, you got to do what you do. And you do that on the Facebook and the Instagrams, X, Threads,
Mm-hmm.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, there we go. That's
End of list. Right?
yeah. I think that's. Did you say Instagram?
You always question whether or not I've said Instagram. And I've always said Instagram. Every time.
I won't ask in future then. I'll just assume. I'll assume I blacked out at that exact moment once again. Not that I'm not paying attention to any of it, which is really what's happening.
Of course not.
I just need to pick a different one that I think I didn't hear.
You're a non-platform lister talking to a platform lister.
I agree. I'm not telling you how to do. I'm not telling you how to list your platforms. Or
No, I need much more help with that than you do with your credit check.
You're a real vegetable dealer. That's what I think of you.
Yeah, I got plenty of onion belts here for you and everybody involved with Hannibal Rising.
I gotta say, for me, the triumph of this episode is my coining of the phrase "onion belt syndrome." I feel like we're gonna be using that one again.
A lot.
Yeah.
Onion belt syndrome.
It also describes a bulbous hip.
Yeah.
Always
I just like the idea.
You got an onion
of
belt
us-
here.
I like the idea of us using that in the future and somebody, whether they listen to this episode or not,
Yeah.
because they'll forget, saying, what the fuck are they talking about?
Archaeologists. Onion belt syndrome. What could that possibly mean? And that because they haven't seen The Simpsons, so they don't know.
Yeah.
Boy, imagine listening to this show having not seen The Simpsons. That must be a depressing experience.
What a waste of time.
What a waste of time.
Okay. Or send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com. That's it. All right. When you hear us next, we're going to be pitching sequels to this nonsense.
We really are.
There's just so many choices available.
Yeah, there are. Maybe more
You can
than
do anything.
Maybe more than we know what to do with. We'll see.
Understood. All right. For Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, Michael Shantz here. I'm from the How Dare You Awards. Like I said, when you hear us next, we'll be pitching sequels. Say goodbye to everybody, Tom.
Rudeness is an epidemic. Now, I agree with that statement. However, in the context of this film, it feels very much like a chicken retcon from Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Because Hannibal sort of progressively becomes more and more interested in punishing impolite people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was really a throwaway line in The Silence of the Lambs. And it kind of became
Yes.
the point of the next two movies.
Of his whole character. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back.
Did we get that in under 2 hours?
Hour 45.
Oh my god. It's like classic Krusty.